Nobody loves Wonder Egg Priority.
No, come on, everyone does. Don't you remember?
This is our Wonder Egg priority.
Wonder Egg Priority.
Why the fuck did they say that? Why the fuck did they say that in the show?
The Wonder Eggs are their priority.
I do remember back
That
when
was a
Twitter
banger line.
existed.
Tom, you don't understand. Tom, you don't understand. It's fantastic.
Mm-hmm. It's fan
Fantastic.
service.
Say that
That is
again.
a
I thought it was
word.
wonderful.
Connect your encoder to go live.
Say that again.
But I should be live. Am I live, everyone?
Yes, I can see
I
the
don't know.
stream.
Yeah, stream's up.
I actually have not checked.
Stream's up.
Okay, perfect. I love
Stream
that.
is up.
Go to
stream's
live
up and we are
studio.
here.
Something away, something done, but there's no talking dog up here.
A talking dog? That's way more interesting than anything we're going to be talking about. What do you mean there's a talking dog?
Well, I said there's no talking dog up here.
God
You
damn
see
it!
All
I
right,
wish
someone
the
has
animals
to.
could
Someone else has to be the one to actually check to see if all the volumes are good. I don't want to do it this time.
Yeah, that's fair.
It sounded fine to me, but
Perfect.
Well,
Vias Vodako, you watched this show twice? It's my job to watch this show, and I barely got through it.
So it's like I was like, okay, so I didn't mute the Discord call or deafen the Discord
I
call
see.
when I was listening. So I was like, oh gosh, wait, this is chaos and I can't tell what's going on anymore.
That's a shame.
So
Which is a
Vias-
perfect segue into our discussion of Wonder Egg Priority.
This show makes me
Well-
feel like I'm starving for anything good while I'm watching a young girl being force-fed alligator meat.
I hated that scene so much.
I am actually interested. Has anyone here seen the show before while it was airing?
Yes.
Ooh, I saw
No.
the first 3 episodes of the show while it was airing.
No, but I think we all knew about it going in, right?
I only knew
I
that
mean, I watched
it was
it while it
very
was new.
popular, and people got very, very mad because
Yeah, I
it
was-
stopped being good.
I think at the time, I was the first, like, prominent YouTube person to say, hey, I don't think this show is gonna be very good. It was around, like,
Really?
episode 3 or 4. I went on Twitter and was like, hey, this show feels like it's gonna shit itself really bad. I'm not sure I'm very comfortable with Wonder Egg Priority, actually. And then
It's
episode,
almost-
like, 7 or 8 happened, I forget which one. Went back on Twitter, and I was like, man, I'm so glad I was right.
It was episode 8 where people got really mad, mainly because episode 8 is a recap episode and everyone just hates those on principle.
But also, it's a particularly
The
bad
audacity
one.
of taking a week off.
I actually liked episode 7. There's a lot of things about episode 7, but I liked it well enough.
I
I
disagree,
actually
Zeph
agree.
Schwar, that this show had the biggest fall from peak of all time.
Episode 1 was its highest peak.
Sure, The Promised Neverland had the biggest fall from grace of all time.
Oh, that's a good one.
Children of the
Definitely.
Whales is a show that not many people talk about, but that they should. Children of the Whales was this show that came out right after Made in Abyss. It had, like, Made in Abyss meets Castle in the Sky vibes, and it destroyed itself in the 3rd episode. Absolutely terrible.
Damn.
Okay, well, I mean, because, like, I wouldn't say that Wonder Egg Priority necessarily falls off a cliff in the early episodes. Like, there's a noticeable, like, lack of quality in the writing where you're like, that's weird, but it's nothing that's, like, terrible. It isn't until fucking randomly they start, like, I don't know, they start, like, hating women in, like, the fucking... I
Start.
forget if it's, like, the 6th or 7th episode, but, like,
I think-
fucking Akka and Aka are just, like, girls are, like, icky, and, like, they're, like, emotional monsters, and they can't
And we
control
want one so
themselves.
bad.
Yeah, and boys are actually, like, boys are, like, super strong and tough, and, like,
Mhm.
fucking, they're
Ah,
awesome.
fuck.
And, like, what
So,
the
like,
I-
okay. This is the anime that I've done the most, like, ancillary looking at shit about of all of them. I've seen, like, multiple other people's, like, takes, and, like, I've, like, I sent that fucking interview with the writer that someone had like translated off of a Blu-ray disc booklet and put onto Reddit, which is crazy. But like I know enough about this show and its writer and its writer's like discography or whatever you call it. I keep saying discography, but that's not the word
I
I'm
have
looking
all
for.
the
But
EPs
whatever.
on vinyl. The EP stands for Egg Priority.
Egg priority.
You know,
Well, it's
I
a
know
wonder you got them all.
Banned.
I know
Banned
enough
bad.
to be confident that I know enough to be confident that it's not that the thing that makes the writing of women and also children, but that's beside the point, bad in this show is like because like it's bad as a writing of women, but it's also bad as a writing of children. It on two separate axes, which is crazy. But the thing that makes it bad is like this. It's not necessarily a malice towards women and children so much as a like a sincere belief. It's like but women and children are people. They're very strange people that I'll never understand, but they're people. And it's like that's approximately the attitude of
Yeah,
every
they
bad
do
thing
kind of
that
talk
happened
about them like
to and with-
Neanderthals.
See, hold
Yeah.
on.
Or
See,
like,
wait,
or like,
He's
like
garbage, but his heart's in the right place.
explorers to the east in like the 1200s. That's how they
Ah.
talk about them.
that's part of my problem, right? Because like it would be one thing, because clearly like Akka and Uraraka were like set up to be the villains like the whole time, right? Because
Okay,
there was
I
there
take
was
issue with
nothing.
that idea.
Hold
but
on,
that's
wait,
fine.
hold on. Let me at least get my point off before I start arguing. My
Yeah,
only
okay.
thing is that I think,
off.
at least the way I felt, was that Akka and Uraraka were supposed to be set up to be like, because clearly they felt like shady and like they were like misleading, not necessarily misleading the girls, but they were being vague, right, intentionally. But then when they're like, oh yeah, girls are fucking emotionally fucking monsters, you would think like the characters like would push back against that to show that they have like a different perspective and that like Akka and Uraraka are wrong, but then all the girls are just like
Nah, we do be
and
like
nod
that.
their head alongs. Yeah, like
Well,
yeah,
you
makes
don't
sense to
understand,
us.
Tom. You don't
Yeah, I
understand.
think-
You see,
I mean, they
women
don't
are
call
more
them monsters,
emotionally
right?
driven, so they're prone to make impulsive decisions, like killing themselves.
And how could they ever?
Where men are more goal-driven, where the goal is to kill yourself.
How could they ever argue against such a well thought out logical point as men are prone to present? They would just emotionally go along with what's being told to them.
Like Rika, literally in the same episode or like the next episode, is like, I'm emotionally unstable because I'm a woman, and you're like, what the fuck? What the
Yeah.
fuck?
No, Rika,
Yeah,
you're
that's-
emotionally
that's what
unstable
Rika
because
says.
you live in the worst household ever and you're a teenager.
And you're an
Like,
idol.
come on, man. Like, you've had a
It's like,
fucked up experience.
okay,
You have a
okay.
fuck up life experience. Like, it has nothing to do with you being a woman, but the show just like rolls with it. And they're like, yeah, it's because she's a girl.
I'm amazed, now that we're talking about this, that there's not a single time of the month joke in this show.
Oh,
That's
Genuinely?
Yeah.
No,
not.
actually, I have a theory
Yeah.
on this. I
Oh?
don't think the author
What's
knew
the
what a
theory?
period was.
Well, I'm not going to criticize their grammar.
Criticize the grammar. Okay.
I had an amazing joke in therapy the other day. I'm seeing a new therapist. And I was talking about how I make dioramas, and she wasn't like totally sure what that was. Like, yeah, I make little miniature buildings and scenes around them, and I paint them and present them on the shelf, and they're beautiful. And I showed her some pictures, and she said, "Oh, so you're artistic?" I said, "Oh, well, I've never been diagnosed, but." Not a word, not a giggle. She didn't catch it at all.
Oh no.
And I was on it too, didn't skip a beat. I was so happy. And I really just wanted to be like, hey, can we go back just a few seconds? 'Cause I
Can
don't
we
feel like,
acknowledge my
I don't
cool
feel like
joke?
you've laughed hard
Can
enough.
you laugh? Can you
I
please laugh?
And then we can talk
this
about my
plot
need for
point in
constant
therapy?
validation.
Oh my gosh. It's like, okay, so it's really my reaction to that scene was very interesting because I watched that scene and my main thought was, oh, you saw a statistic one time. It's like, that was my thought process. It's like, this was at the point where I still thought there were multiple writers in the writer's room, like having arguments with each other. And that's why the writing was the way that it was. it was so erratic all of the time. But like, no, it's one guy, which is the worst part. Anyway, so I think like the place that came from, I feel it's important to acknowledge for some reason, that the place that probably came from is like he saw a statistic one time, and it's like there is in a way like a because women and men are different classes, like they're different social classes, you do have to look at their suicides differently. Like you have to examine them differently. A man will usually kill himself for reasons of like not being able to live up to patriarchal goals for himself. Like in a way, like it's like he's not able to live up to the standard of what a man is, and it like causes him a lot of anguish because very few things in society are set up to cause men anguish, whereas many things in society are set up to cause women and specifically teenage girls anguish. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Sure.
What? Can you repeat that last part?
Many things in society are set up to cause women and specifically teenage girls a lot of anguish.
If only there was the perfect character to use to distinguish male and female reasons for committing suicide. Oh well, I guess we'll use the leaky dick-nosed kendo instructor instead.
Oh my god!
That's like, speaking of like things in society that exist to cause women anguish. We haven't talked at all about what the trauma actually was in this show. And there were like 3 different ones.
Do you mean like for the girls that they're trying to save?
I meant, yeah, the ones that get turned into monsters. And it's like, if you are a girl and you are facing trauma that causes you to kill yourself, according to the writer of this show, you were either molested or you had an eating disorder. What was the third one?
The third one was oh wait, hold on. Okay.
She killed themselves, and you want to kill yourself as well because.
I mean, the cult girl, I guess.
Oh, right.
That's...
Or you're
yeah.
following in the footsteps of an influential dead person.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Right.
like those 2 idol girls.
Mhm.
Those,
I mean, there's
Yeah.
that woman who
What are they
who
called?
kills herself because she would rather die beautiful young than.
Okay,
live.
that was really
Definitely an
interesting.
eating
That's an
disorder.
eating
She
disorder.
definitely.
I'm putting that in the same category as eating disorder.
Definitely an eating
Beauty
disorder.
standards, we're gonna call it.
I
I
don't
don't see the connection, honestly.
like Vias Vodiko in chat. First off, condolences, of course. But they say that their dad killed themselves 5 years ago because he was paralyzed and facing kidney failure. And that sounds goal-driven to me.
That's
I mean,
yeah, I mean-
driven.
James, also, it didn't sound like what you said earlier. Seems like you're saying what the show.
That's
said
fucked
in
up.
that
You
line
can't
is
say that
actually
about
empirically
someone's
correct.
dad.
I'm very sorry.
Okay, listen. What I was trying to say is that like it's important to like kind of like look at the way that this is written, not necessarily from a perspective of we need to throw everything out because it's all like obviously disgusting and bad, but like to break down why the bad choices were made. Why did these choices get so bad and why there's so many of them? And the reason that I came to that is like the Occam's razor reason, which they don't use Occam's razor correctly in this fucking show, but
Sure
that's beside the
don't.
point. The Occam's razor reason that I have found for why that particular conversation was written the way that it was written is because the writer saw one statistic one time and kind of vibes out the rest of the sentence, where it's like, well, women are emotional. I know women are emotional. And men are not supposed to be emotional, but men do kill themselves sometimes. And it's like he was like scrambling, like kind of trying to figure out, half remembering a statistic that he read at one point.
I don't feel
that
like
was
you even
talking
need the
about
statistic.
the thing. Yeah.
I think you just can have tangentially interacted with women every now and then, drawn a conclusion. Sorry, you can tangentially have interacted with men who have interacted with women, and then draw a conclusion from that and write your show.
Good point. Yeah. So like that's what I was trying to get at, I guess. When I was like, but we can't just like say like that was a weird conversation and then drop it, you know?
Next 1639 asks what the topic is. We're talking about Evangelion.
We're talking about the writing of
Yeah,
Wonder Egg Priority right now.
Okay, so, like,
Just
you
specifically the general writing.
You said the thing about like I can't believe there's not a single period joke in this anime that very clearly constantly misunderstands like the issues of women. And I'm thinking about the fact that in Neon Genesis Evangelion, there's a specific moment where like one of the women in the show defends Asuka. It was what was I've forgotten her name, the Guardian, the black hair, Misato. Misato actively defends like Asuka like storming off in the middle of like a training thing, whatever. With give her a fucking break, she's on her period, and then and like this idea, like this is a woman saying to another woman, give this girl a fucking break about this, and then like the next scene is like Asuka in the bathroom being bitter about the fact that this is happening to her. It's like she's like, it's not like I'm ever gonna be a mother. And so it's like just this idea that like this idea that Neon Genesis Evangelion took a moment aside to sort of like at least think about that for 2 seconds and apply it to Asuka's mommy issues. Is so fascinating in a way that Wonder Egg Priority does not do. Like, it's crazy to me that it's a thing that Wonder Egg never seems to consider, like, specifically girls interacting with girls and what it means to be a girl society, like what it means to be a girl, not just like whatever the fuck is going on with Momo.
Well, we know what it means to be a girl. It means that you're emotionally driven and impulsive.
There is exactly one criterion, and you can't tell if somebody's a boy or a girl until they kill themselves.
Okay, I mean, I kind of expected that everyone would kind of like really harp on that one line. And like,
well, of course,
I really don't like this show enough to like defend it over that. But like, it is just one line. I think it's kind of ridiculous to blow it up into representing.
Yeah, but the problem is that one line is the premise.
It's a ridiculous line. That one line is the premise.
No, Tennick's right that it's not the premise of the show.
It could have been like it actually. You know what? It would have been an amazing line if the show wanted to dissect Akka and Uraraka's like misogynist views of women and how their technology enforces that. But it doesn't do that.
No, Scrub is getting at it. It's not that the line itself is so bad. Like, it's memeable. I hate the line. But it's that the line is emblematic of this, like, ideology that permeates the whole show. It's just an easy thing to point to and say, yeah, that's the problem with this one.
It's something that informs the plot. Because, like, we just talked about Ava, where there is complex things with the relationship between Misato and Asuka, where Misato is an adult figure, right? Not necessarily even parental, but is a figure of guidance, right? And is able to tell the other characters, like, hey, she is having this problem because she is experiencing this right now. Lay off, this. There's not a single adult woman in this show that provides guidance like that. Even with, like, the fuck is her name? Ai's mom. Ai's mom is...
Does she have a name?
I don't think so. Like,
does?
I actually don't know what her name is.
I'm looking it up.
I know her last name is Oto, but like that's Ai's name.
But like I don't know where the show, like, why like she feels like a prominent enough character to have had a role like that. Kai? Is it Kai?
Junko.
Tai with a T.
Oh.
T-A-E.
Hi. I'm getting conflicting answers.
Yeah, T-A-E.
Junko was a joke.
Yeah.
Oh.
Junko is Madoka's mom's name.
Oh.
Hi.
Junko Enoshima.
Whoa.
Cool. So
oh my god.
Holy shit.
Wonder Egg Priority was just a game show the whole time.
Yep, the writing matches, they're both terrible.
I definitely was, honest to God, thinking about Danganronpa, Dang It Grandpa, while I was watching the show.
Danganronpa is more competently constructed.
Yeah, both this show and Danganronpa are pretty to look at, and garbage writing.
Danganronpa's show is not pretty to look at. But
Oh well, the show, yeah, absolutely. It's
I
horrendous.
like this comparison between Evangelion and Wonder Egg because they're both very philosophical shows that are about women and are
Yeah.
about girls growing up. But Evangelion's main character is a guy, and
And
like I
it's
never
so
want
cool,
to
like,
point to
the interaction
Evangelion
between,
as
like,
the best
gender
treatment
shit
of female
and
characters in
sexuality
anime, but it's
going
not
on.
bad.
I think, well,
I
I think the point in bringing up Ava is just, even if it's not the best, it clearly shows the complexities of these dynamics, of these relationships, where Wonder Egg Priority doesn't do that.
Yeah, it definitely feels like the writers of Eva sat down and they said, we want to write characters who are going through this kind of situation. And some of those characters are girls. So how is that going to affect everything else? Whereas the writers of Wonder Egg said, we want to write a story about girls going through this situation. What are girls
and
like?
then they were like,
What are girls like?
I know what girls are like.
We
Does
actually
anyone
don't
know any girls?
I know what girls are like. Pulls up the Japanese suicide rates chart.
Easy way to tell.
But like, yeah, it's like, okay.
See,
Oh my
I
gosh.
feel like when I wrote my video a long time ago about the purpose and value of literary analysis, I brought up how authorial intent does not matter when you are reading a work because the author can be wrong about what their work is about.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
And it feels like that's what happened here. I think that
Um,
a very good-intentioned person wanted to write something that would be meaningful to people and did a very bad job.
Oh, it was horrendous. And like, okay, so I know enough about the I know enough about the character of Nojima Shinji, which is the name of this author.
Sure.
I it even connects back to Evangelion on the name. I'm gonna kill something. Anyway, so the
Congratulations.
this guy he has been writing for television since the mid 90s, like as in like drama television, like IRL things. So the way that he writes, and also in that interview that got translated from a Blu-ray booklet onto Reddit. Anyway, that interview, he mentions like the way that he was writing was essentially episode by episode. He did not have like a full like overarching this is the
Oh
end.
no,
He's not
girl, you
having
can't do that.
Well, you can do that. That's
Yeah,
totally
you
fine.
You shouldn't do that.
It almost
can do
never works.
anything. Yeah.
like it's like okay, so like when everything that he set up in the first episode was just like, yeah, that's this episode. And then the next episode I want to do something a little different. And the next episode I want to do something a little different. And and he kept doing that until the end of the show.
That's how you do a D&D campaign.
Yeah,
That's
and
not
also-
how you
what show
spend
are you
an
talking
anime
about right
studio's
now?
money.
We're still talking about Wonder Egg Priority, and we're talking about like the manner in which Wonder Egg Priority was written.
okay.
It was by this one guy who has a lot of experience with drama television, who was writing it episode by episode. And when you're writing something for drama television episode by episode, you can get away with a lot more actually, because drama television is like you film the actors and that is it. You can probably get like 10 takes of an actor in the same amount of time that you can animate like a minute of animation. You know what I mean? Like at most, like 30
You could
seconds.
probably do a lot
You know what
more
I mean?
takes, honestly.
Yeah, I keep forget. But like you know what I mean. Like if you have a whole team of people working on a physical live action set, you can do so much more. Like you can get so much more runtime out of that than you can from an animation. So animation objectively is a medium that requires more planning than this man has ever had experience with. And also, like, the way that it's written really makes a lot of sense because it ends on a cliffhanger of, like, a season 2 bait sort of
Twice.
thing. Where she's like, Oto is back.
Twice.
Like, right? Like, that's... And,
Yeah.
and that's because that's the way you write trashy drama television, is you keep on, like, changing shit from underneath the viewer and giving them bait to go into the next episode with. That's why there's a cliffhanger in episode 3 where Rika turns to stone, and then the next episode it doesn't matter anymore. Because that was just to get people interested in seeing the next episode, and then once they were already in the next episode, that doesn't need to matter anymore. And it's like
Dude, I literally forgot
this
that
muscle
happened.
memory that this man has built up over the years writing for television doesn't fucking work for a 12-episode anime.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Wait, real quick, I just want to say
13.
that basically when I saw Rika get turned into stone, I was actually I was actually excited because
Mm-hmm.
oh, I wonder what they're gonna do. Is she gonna wake up and she's paralyzed or something? No, she's just fine.
She's just fine.
I was actually excited to not have to hear from her anymore.
Oh no!
The only thing that I could like even try to justify for why that happens is like it is a chance to get Rika out of the scene so we can focus on I and like what she is thinking and like what she is going through in this specific scenario, but it's a really cheap and stupid way to do that. I mean, it
The fucking,
functionally,
like, thumbs
it
up
really
and
functions-
everything.
yeah, it is just like it's like a get out of jail free card. It's like, oh, I I turn this guy to stone, and then fucking, then they don't matter anymore. But then they're fine.
They'll come back when I've decided they matter again.
Yeah. Also, episode 4 has like some awful pacing compared to 3. Like it feels so jarring.
That's the episode they introduced Momoe in too, where they keep cutting between the fight with Momoe and the fight with the fucking the fight that's been going on for a full episode already. Like,
I can't
we
wait to
already
talk about
got-
Momoe. I have so many thoughts on Momoe, and none of them are good.
We already got the big climactic moment of the squid megaphone lady fight. We already got the big climactic moment of that when I says when I has that epiphany about she would have died with Koito if Koito had asked her to. Like she would have done that. Like that's such a big moment to then end the episode on. By the way, there's a cliffhanger and the fight's still going. That's like, what are you doing? What's wrong with you, sir? You know?
Yeah, I was not actually too bothered by the interspersing of like scenes with like other characters while that fight scene was going on. Because like for me, I thought it like built tension for trying to figure out who this new character was. You just see them doing stuff, it cuts away. Obviously the stuff with I going on is more important, but seeing a cool fight scene with Momoe in the background every so often, and then by the end we kind of get her deal, like kind of sort of get her deal. We get inferences to what's going on with her. I thought that was fine.
Yeah, it would be a shame.
Is that... go ahead.
It would be a shame if the show developed a habit of doing that, of cutting to multiple different stories at multiple different time periods.
Yeah, the biggest problem is that later on it becomes really fucking confusing what's happening when, because they keep doing it.
Look, your problem here is that you're focusing on things that aren't the plot. The plot is Frill.
Yeah, you need to priority.
You need to priority.
Priority.
Okay. You want to know something fucking crazy? Frill was not planned.
Of course not.
No,
Yeah.
come on.
No,
That's
I know,
not
but,
crazy.
She was not even an inkling in the writer's fucking mind in episode 1.
Yeah.
And that makes me so angry.
No, especially considering what you said about how this show was written. Of course Frill wasn't planned. I never thought she was.
No.
Hey, you ever
If
think
you said
about
you want to hear something crazy, Frill was the plan all along, I would have been like, what the hell?
Yeah,
What do you mean?
This is what it was all leading up to.
Do you guys ever think
I
about
don't know why this
that?
upsets people so much, to be honest.
The lack of
Like,
planning?
yeah, like, okay, it's a part of the sci-fi plot of the show. So what?
Okay, so let me. Okay, so Tenek, it's like, okay. Do you guys remember when I said I don't remember exactly which anime I said this about, but I said that I figured out through that anime that I really highly valued when a show can easily telegraph what the fuck it's about. Like it can telegraph itself very elegantly and very effectively. Like that doesn't mean that it necessarily just tells you so here's the deal and this is gonna be the only deal. It means giving you constant signals that it's going in a particular direction, even if you don't know exactly what the things going on are. So
No, but
priority,
wait, no, Jams. I need to point out something.
Yeah.
It does go, here's the deal in the first episode, and the deal is given to by the worst possible character they could have picked.
What?
I'm talking about what's her name? The first like egg that Ai helps out.
That girl.
Yeah, and she
literally-
somehow knows everything about the dream world and explains it to Ai,
and no other girls
even
do.
though none of the other girls should know what's going on.
Like,
Yeah,
it almost implies that her
okay.
egg was given to somebody else before, but it didn't work. And so she knows because she's been through this before with a different girl, which would be interesting in a way.
But they never
where
go
it's
back
like-
to it.
They never go back to
could've-
that concept because that was never planned. And the thing is that, like, you can do it episode by episode and build things up, but to do that, you need to constantly be referring back to your other episodes. And instead, he's just barreling forward in different directions and forgetting anything that's inconvenient.
It genuinely feels like this. Sorry, still sick. It genuinely feels like the school setting was picked for the first girl, and then he found out, oh, we can't animate a new area for every single character. I guess we'll just stick to the school. It's Ai's personal place. That's what we'll do. What does that say about the character? I don't fucking know. Just go with it.
Well, okay, to be fair, all of the places are the locations in which their friends killed themselves. Like, that's why that Momoe has a train station. Her friend killed herself by jumping in front of a train. And
Okay.
that's why, like, XYZ, you know.
I don't
So,
actually know that
Hold
about
on.
Chiemi.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I
Yeah,
think
but
Chiemi
Chiemi
died
is the
because
only one
she
for
starved
whom she
herself
doesn't
to death.
know the
So
location.
I have to oh yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
I guess that's
Wait.
fair. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
fair.
Rika doesn't know where she died,
Okay.
but like it's like the idea of like this idyllic little beach with a forest near it is very interesting as like a place that Rika would think about, feel like that's where she feels Chiemi belongs. It's very interesting.
Sure. Yeah.
I don't know.
To Tenek though, like, because like I get what you're saying, but the whole essentially the biggest problem with this, besides the first half feeling like it was written by mistake, is that when it's written like episode by episode and you just like neglect like previous things, that if you don't have an end goal in mind, then it doesn't fucking matter.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's the biggest problem, is that most of the first half of the show ends up feeling it doesn't fucking matter. So it's like, oh, why did I sit through this? Like, why did I do this?
I feel like
Like,
if the show
I mean,
had
okay,
been written
I would say-
episodically, it would be a lot better.
Yes.
Sure.
I mean, yeah, I feel like you're right. The show is compartmentalized into like the character part that's about the main girls, and the plot part, which is just like this basically very brief sci-fi plot. I don't think that matters too much. So yeah, I mean the resolution does come kind of quickly at the end, and it's not super important because the more important part is the character part that makes up most of the show.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's it. Yeah, so I'm not gonna blame anyone for not caring about Frill or thinking that it's stupid. I really am not that upset about it.
I don't think it's stupid. I
You
think
don't
it's a
understand
great
why people
idea.
are upset about it. Okay, so the reason that people get upset about like the change is that like the change itself feels a little bit like a betrayal of the audience because of the manner in which you're told to get invested in the show. Like, the rules of investment for a soft magical girl show are very different from the rules of investment of a like science fantasy drama, right? Like that, those are two very different rules of investment. In a science fantasy drama, the things you are expected to care about are like there's like basic story things, like, you know, you're supposed to care about the characters and the themes and everything, but your attention is supposed to be in certain areas, and you are supposed to forgive certain things not being explained in different ways than you are supposed to do that for a soft magical girl show. And because they changed from soft magical girl show, where you are supposed to essentially accept everything, like that's something that's really integral to the magical girl genre, is this idea of like just accepting anything that comes at you, and being like, okay, I understand how this fits via vibes. This is a vibesy thing. Of course. Like, of course Sailor Moon finds this thing in this place, or like can just kind of do that without trying, because she's Sailor Moon. Of course, she can just do that. Or like, of course, Revolutionary Girl Utena ends the way that it ends, because like this is like a really like, this is like a fraught drama that is also a magical girl show where it's like, you know, this, that, the other thing happens, right? So, the thing about Wonder Egg Priority changing genres entirely is that like it feels like a betrayal of the thing that they set out to do, which is the thing that they set out to do is we want to have sympathy for these girls who have killed themselves. We want to have sympathy for them,
Okay.
and we want to show a journey of grief going. We want to see that. We want to show the main characters going through a journey of grief and self-actualization. Those are the two things that they set out to do. And then in episode fucking 9, they feed Momoe's alligator to her. And it's not okay. It's like I don't know how to explain how not okay that betrayal of the audience's like expectations and trust.
I can explain it with
Okay,
pointing something out.
Okay, please do. Then I would like to make my point.
Because the whole premise of the show is, well, we got to keep doing this, and it'll eventually get our friend who committed suicide back. Never mind how that makes no sense in the hard sci-fi section of the show. But it also brings up the fact that apparently the Akkas can just shunt someone from a parallel universe over here. And they don't think to do that for anything other than some girls so they can, like, essentially propagandize them into fighting the battle they fucked up in the first place.
Yeah, that's the plot.
You have technology to go to parallel universes, and you put it in a gachapon for teenage girls.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I guess this does actually bring up the question of why they're using the girls specifically to do these fights. I mean, I guess, well, okay, now that I think about it, so they can give them the specific reward they want, which is their dead friends back.
It would have worked if they were just like, if Akka and Uraraka were just like weird fae-like beings that didn't make sense, and this was all a soft magic show where you just kind of had to go by vibes.
Yeah, but okay, I mean, so this is what I wanted to say. Like, I don't see this hard boundary between sci-fi and, like, soft magic or magic.
Because even if it's technobabble, you're expected to explain everything in a sci-fi story. You're expected to scrutinize it a bit.
Yeah, and I mean, they give, like,
The
vague
problem is
sci-fi explanations. I think, like, the difference is just a difference in vibes between, like, what marks, like, sci-fi tropes and magical tropes. Which is, again, like, why I don't think this is like, that important of a difference.
Well, hold on, let me,
that particular part doesn't matter.
But, okay, actually, the question I wanted to ask the stars to maybe, like, clarify, maybe get a grasp on your outlook. So, like, you know how people bitch about midichlorians in Star Wars? That, like, they give this, like, sort of vague explanation for the Force. Is it like that what you're getting at? That, like, it would be much better if they just, like...
Actually. Because the argument that I'm making is like an emotional one. Like you're saying, it's like when people got mad about the midichlorians thing, it was more like an annoyed kind of mad. The mad that people get at Wonder Egg Priority is a betrayed kind of mad. And that is because of the way that it is set up in the very first episode. Like the very first episode tells you this is what this show is. This show is a soft magic thing where it's like the magic is a little flavored like it's technobabble, but it's magic. Like sufficiently advanced technology is just magic. And like science fiction is very spec-fic based. It's like speculation. It's like it's meant to engage your brain and make you think, but yeah, the condition of things, etc., etc. You know what I mean? But magical girl shows are meant to make you feel seen a little bit, like not exactly seen, but more like connected to other things. Like it's meant to connect you to things that are in the present in a lot of ways. Like it's about a present moment, like a little bit. And what I mean when I say that, connecting it to Wonder Egg Priority, is that Wonder Egg Priority's first episode says this show is going to be about sympathizing with people who have had really rough lives, going through grief, and figuring out, like, who you are after horrible things happen to you. Because the girls who killed themselves say, I'm no one after this horrible thing happened to me, I'd rather die. But the girls who were still alive say, I don't know who I am, but I want to live. That's, like, the whole thing. And, like, that's such a that's such an integral thematic core, and it's such a sensitive subject that like when you change your entire plot to stop being about that, and the way you do it is the way that this show did it, where they're like, anyway, how about we kill your special Pokemon and then force feed it to you and then mock you about it, and then also you're locked out of the special magic world, and also you lose all your friends because the writer said that your friend group has to break apart in the face of this adversity. Like, it's when that happens, people feel angry and betrayed.
James, hold on, because I think that in itself is getting into a different problem, because that has nothing to do with like the sci-fi twist, right?
Okay, yes, you're right. I'm sorry, but like,
because like I agree with you that it was very sudden,
and I do want to talk about that later.
Yes, but like when we're talking about sci-fi and magic, like they are two very different realms. There are different expectations of them, but there doesn't have to be all the time.
Yep.
I think a lot of different shows can balance these sci-fi and magic. If you look at like what's a good example? Like a certain magical index. Like a index has a world where it's like you have hard sci-fi rules and technology, and that's how some characters use their powers, and then you have just straight up magician type characters who are doing spells and doing all this other random bullshit. And those two realms don't mix. They don't they don't clash with each other. In the terms of like their power systems, they don't necessarily clash with each other. But then you have like a main character whose power system is unique to both worlds. Like neither side understands how he's doing it, right? So it's not like they can't coexist in the same realm. It is just the fact that when you do blend those two together, there has to be some explanation of what is happening when. And Wonder Egg Priority simply does not do that.
I think we're missing the biggest issue here. I think the biggest problem doesn't have anything to do with viewer expectations or anything like that. It's that the sci-fi transition makes the show stop making sense.
Yep.
Yeah, Scrub said.
I don't think so.
Like Scrub said, now that we know that these are two human people who have the ability to contact parallel worlds and just pull people out of them, why are they doing this in the form of a gachapon machine for teenage girls?
What I want to know is why are they doing it at fucking all?
Right, but we can get it.
So first off, they're doing it because they need to get data on Frill and what she's doing, because it's a part of their plan to stop Frill.
If only they could contact a parallel version of themselves that already did that.
But does that parallel world necessarily exist?
No, but in this show
they
it
don't
does.
flesh out the details. No.
According to them, they're going off of the interpretation that every decision you ever make will lead to a new parallel world. So by reason, it stands that during some part of the decisions, at some point, Akka and Ura-Akka went into a gay relationship with each other, and Frill was nice, and they could talk to each other about it.
Mm-hmm.
Tedrick, you literally just said it. Like, they just don't give the details. Like, that's the biggest part of the problem. That's why it stops making sense, right?
I mean,
sci-fi shows you need the details because your audience is expected to scrutinize the details.
With this particular twist,
but obviously there's a limit to that. Like, obviously, like parallel universes, for example, are a sci-fi trope, but you're not gonna have much sci-fi media or stories where it's fully explicated why the parallel universes exist. They're just there. Now, okay, the thing you pointed out, Scrub, that is a plot hole, I will admit. And I also admit that, like, the sci-fi lore isn't very detailed. I don't know. Again, I just don't find it to be an issue. Now, as far as, like, the connection of the magical elements and the sci-fi elements goes, I mean, I think the lore of the show is just grounding the magical elements in the sci-fi elements. After all the, like, magical seeming stuff in their in the reality where they fight the phantasms, that's all happening in their dreams, or they're only able to access that when they're dreaming.
I guess, like, the transition from we don't know anything about this to it's secretly about science is that transition disenchants the audience.
That's a good word.
The magic, the magicness of it came from how theatrical and soft and wibbly and vibes based that first episode set everything up to be. That was part of the magic going on in this show. And to say, by the way, there was never magic, is to go, by the way, you were wrong to think that we were doing the thing we told you we were doing.
Okay, but give me a specific element that made you feel that way.
What?
All right.
Like, what element that was
do you
set up,
remember
shown
how
earlier?
the first episode opens with the main character burying a beetle?
Yeah.
So, the main character finds a dead beetle in the middle of the road. She gingerly picks it up, and a car stops in front of her, and after a while of her completely ignoring that car to stare at this beetle mournfully, the car beeps at her, and she glares at the car as if it has wronged her, as if saying, can't you see that I am in mourning, right? You know? So, like, you already get this idea. It's like, this is a girl who cares deeply about, like, either who is in a place where death is weighing heavily upon her mind enough to pick up this random dead beetle, or she is the kind of person who cares about everything, including a random dead beetle in the street. She gives the beetle a proper burial, and then the beetle rises from the grave and says to her, do you want to come with me to see this thing? The first egg is free. And she goes, free egg? What do you mean? And, like, she follows it, and then she gets dropped down, she goes down an escalator that then turns into a slide. And so, like, you get this idea of this show that, like, the logic behind why this happened is this girl has proven to this beetle or the forces which are connected to the beetle that she is worthy of a chance to enter into a magical realm. This realm of magic and mystery. And then, and then the rest of the plot happens, specifically because she has proven the worth of her heart. However, if you then say, by the way, that beetle, the entire time, was secretly just like an extra body for Akka, like, because, like, we see...
It was a robot.
We see in the episode where Phil is revealed that Akka is speaking to Akka through that beetle as well. So that's just another tool of theirs. That's just another technoscience, bioscience tool that they have, is this beetle. So they left a beetle in the middle of the road, and some random girl picks it up, and these are, like, thinking men who think to themselves, excellent, this random girl will do. And also, like, or, like, they saw that there was some random girl connected to the suicide of a different girl that they already researched. Because, like, they have that fucking wall of, like, these suicides and the pictures of these girls just on a corkboard. So, like, it's this idea that, like, you are disenchanting the magical part of it and essentially completely invalidating the idea that the reason that there is an emotional reason for all of this happening. And the whole reason anything happens in a magical girl show is that there was an emotional reason for it. So.
I
Emotional? What are they, girls?
real quick, I just want to say, I want to talk about the kind of picture I was imagining as you were going through that rant of Akka just going, hey, Ura Akka, I had this great idea to get a new recruit. I'm going to take our beetle drone and lay it down on the side of the road for like 14 days and see if anyone picks it up and gives it a proper burial. And then Uraraka said, that sounds great. I guess I'll join you to watch that.
What a great use of our tag
the
powers.
biggest problem, I think, when it comes to the betrayal emotion that people are experiencing here, like humans do, is that it takes a show that is about magic and fairies, and it solves it with AI and robots and alternate dimensions. And that doesn't work. You have to solve the problem with magic and fairies, unless that's the point.
You literally have dream logic. You literally have dream logic baked in to the show, and you don't do anything with it.
Also, what's the point of the show? The point of the show is taking individual girls and helping them get through their trauma. I don't know why air quotes around trauma. That was good.
Yeah.
The trauma's valid.
Trauma is valid.
Their quote-unquote trauma, like getting
Whatever.
bullied at school.
So it's about taking individual girls and helping them through this emotional journey to get through their trauma, right? And we resolve that by killing a homunculus that these necromancer scientists made to infiltrate the minds of young girls everywhere and convince them to kill themselves, which is disgusting.
True.
That's a different problem, but it is disgusting.
Wait, what is disgusting exactly? In like
that
part of the
that the
description?
choice of suicide was not the girl's fault. That some part of it, besides like the bullying, the neglect, everything around that this delicate topic had anything at all to do with some robot AI that told you to kill yourself.
Yeah, basically. You're saying that these
I mean,
girls
I
didn't
agree.
actually have real problems. They were just manipulated by the AI robot, who was bad.
I
Because,
mean, no, I don't think the
which
show
was
is saying
not at
that.
all
I mean,
because her parents were gay. That's not why she was bad.
I mean, yeah, I get the disappointment. I did think like that payoff for like the reason why their friends killed themselves. I mean, like for the main cast of girls, because for all of them it's basically a mystery. They don't know. It's disappointing. It's good that it's disappointing.
Good that it's a mystery. Good that we don't know.
Yeah.
Except we do know.
Yeah, by the end.
Can I posit like a little, because like maybe talking about it like this has given me kind of an idea where, I don't know, maybe I'm being a little unfair to the show thinking this, but like I also kind of think it might be a betrayal because it goes from like girl problems to boy problems.
Does
that make sense?
That
Doesn't
sucks
really
that
go
you
to
said
boy
that.
It does start
Like-
centering adult men much more prominently. Like that's the
Yeah,
thing. Is that, like we start by centering
I mean, but-
teenage girls and these. Two
Hi, my
figures
name
are
is
just these
Sawakawi.
weird,
There's a
old-
huge mystery upon me, but it turns out I was unproblematic the whole time.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
that Sawaki, the thing with the guy, and it's like the thing about it that it's okay. Hold on, I can do this. So the very first episode is very interesting in the fact that like the adult men, we don't really see like they're not even in the form of like the only adult man that we see is that counselor. Technically, because like I don't think the Akkas necessarily bodily they look like mannequins. So we, the audience, who are in the soft magic headspace, think, oh, okay, they're these weird creatures that aren't quite humans. They're not humans. They're something else, and they have this magic gachapon machine that they preside over for whatever reason, and it is connected for whatever reason to the souls of dead girls. Okay, cool. Like that's the whole like that's the leaps in logic that we make. So we don't look at Uraraka and Akka as adult men. We look at them like strange creatures who happen to have the voices of men. And so...
That have the voices of Ian Sinclair and Jello Apocalypse.
So the fact that when they are given faces and they are given like backstories of these were humans once, and then very quickly the show pivots to, and this is about them and their opinions about, and their experience with their evil AI daughter, who in turn is affecting the girls who we have been following. Suddenly, it becomes very bad because we are being told that the girls only matter insofar as they are connected to these men.
No, what are you saying? Like, I don't think that's what
The
show
story
is about.
go. The story.
it's
The
just
main
providing
plot
you
of the story.
backstory.
The main plot of the story then revolves around these two guys. These two guys went from
Yeah, I mean, look, let me put it this
the
way.
plot
Like,
device
the
to get-
backstory, like the backstory stems from what the Akkas did, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, yeah. And
and that becomes the main story by the end of it.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it provides the context for what the girls have been doing for the
No,
rest
it
of the show.
becomes the
Where, like,
main story.
How
It's
many
very
Wonder Eggs
clear,
are cracked
but
in the last 5 episodes?
Yeah, because
Yeah.
that's the plot part of it. I mean, I think it just comes back to the compartmentalization that I already mentioned, and that I think we all agree is there. Like, you have the plot part, which is the reason why the girls are doing this, but then you have the actual character part, which is why this is relevant to the characters themselves. Like,
But
there
I
is one
would
point
agree with you,
about the
Tenek,
Akka's-
but there's a problem. The show
What?
stops caring about the girls' plots after a while, because if it did care, then we would have actually gotten to see them trying to interact more with the people they saved. Also, I just want to point out, again, that the Akkas built life-saving technology that can literally, like, I assume it's just bringing someone from a parallel universe and replacing them, but that still happened, and everyone just, like, thinks it's normal, and apparently the only explanation we get for it is that, oh yeah, when someone gets brought over, time gets a little wonky.
You know, this is a little bit irrelevant, but I did snarkily say how many Wonder Eggs get cracked in the last 5 episodes, and the answer is 2. And one of them is the one where Ai has to save herself. So it's 1.
Yeah.
And what's crazy, okay, and that thing, it's the Ai that killed herself that saves the Ai who is alive, which would be interesting, except for the fact that, like, it's like, you remember how I said in Madoka Magica that, like, a good way to interpret, like, Madoka's position as, like, she is sacrificing a lot, but she is also accomplishing a lot, is the idea that, like, we stand on the shoulders of giants. Like, every sacrifice has become something that can lead her specifically to this, and so it is her job to fulfill this. So, like, this idea then implies that even after death, I still has work to do for the alive one. And that's kind of cruel to me.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
You know what genuinely would have been a better option instead of just parallel universe I? Is if she did see I, but it's just herself, and then it cuts to the real world, and we find out that when she went to sleep, she poisoned herself because she couldn't take her friend group splitting apart.
I think
That's
there's potential
fascinating.
there.
That sounds ridiculous, to be honest.
That would fit better with the actual, like, magical girl style of the original first half of the show.
But, like, I don't think the show set up I as being so emotionally...
Well, yeah, that's
Well,
because
mostly
I stops being a
absolutely.
character halfway through the show and
No,
starts being
kinda,
a road
come on.
for story.
The show does set I up as being, like, emotional because she's a girl, Tenek. Like, what do you not get about this, man? They say it in the show.
Oh my goodness. It's okay. Okay. So I feel like we're talking a little too much about, like, the roadmap part. Do you know what I mean?
That's fair.
Sure.
What do you mean?
Like, okay, so
What is the
Tenek,
roadmap?
we
The
we
thing we've
are
been
all
talking
like
about.
the central question that you are asking must be answered by the general roadmap of the show, because, like, you're saying, why did people feel so deeply betrayed about this thing that I think is very innocuous and doesn't matter as much as other, like, not that it doesn't matter, but, like, you seem to think that, like, the change in genre and the change in focus and the change in plot, the very sudden change in all of those things, you speak as though those changes are arbitrary and they are not at all related to anyone's emotional investment in the show. Am I correct?
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, for the pets as well, like, I think it was a bit weird that they went that brutally, or maybe that they expected the audience to feel bad for, like, pets with pretty much zero personality to
Of
get
course
killed.
they expected the audience
I
to
felt bad.
feel bad for pets, because
I felt bad.
humans, like, naturally look at, like, humans are animals that can very easily anthropomorphize. People will name their Roombas, Tenek. So, like,
I would never name a clanker.
no, you can't be saying these things. So anyway, it's
You
like,
can't be
okay.
saying these things, white baby.
Anyway, so, like, what I mean is that, like, it's like oh my goodness. So, like, you are looking at the show as though every decision was arbitrary, and the point of the show was did everything connect to everything else properly? Like, could you say that these things connected? And the answer is technically yes, but also emotionally, no. And because things disconnect and jar so heavily on an emotional level because of the like writing decisions that were made moment to moment each episode, like these things are inextricably connected. It's more just that like the way you are viewing the show seems to be that like yes, they are connected, but it seems odd that the emotional reaction would be so strong when they are not connected as heavily as I'm looking at it. Do you know what I mean?
I mean, I think you are onto something. You probably explained pretty well why I never felt that strongly about the show as other people. I guess I never cared about. I never got attached to the emotional aspect of it that much. Although I'm still not entirely sure I understand the exact nature of the disconnect you're talking about.
I'm
Maybe I will by the end of the
only like
stream.
working through it like as I speak, so it's a little hard to explain. But like, I there's something in there.
There's something.
Yeah, probably.
I wanted to talk about the lizard.
Oh, the
Yes.
lizard!
Let's
Panic! His name is Panic.
Yes, I would like to talk about Panic. And I want to talk about... Panic is the one who gets fed to Momo, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
I am correct here. All right.
Yeah, she had a panic attack about it.
Panic was
He was the
attacked.
cutest one.
Oh my god.
There was a panic at the disco, and he died.
So, why is it when the witch Bebe eats Panic's head and feeds it to Momo? Why is that good?
It wasn't.
not.
I don't, what are you talking about?
No.
Okay.
In
I was
Madoka
noodling about this,
Magica.
actually.
In
Oh, in
Madoka
Madoka
Magica,
Magica.
there's a famous scene in episode 3. It's where we get the 3-episode test.
Okay.
Wherein a character is a main character, a main badass character, is held by an enemy and has her head bitten off her body in the middle of what to this point has been a dark-leaning but fairly innocuous-seeming magical girl show. And it is a tone shift that defines the entire rest of the series. In Wonder Egg Priority, there is a moment wherein the companion of one of our characters is killed and fed to that character. And it is a tone shift that one could argue defines the rest of the series. Why is one good and one bad? Discuss.
Okay.
One happens at episode 3, one happens when there's 3 episodes left.
No, that's too easy.
That's too easy. So, okay. I think
It was
like,
too easy that kind of sums up the problem, doesn't it?
No, as in like that's too easy as like a breakdown. So, like if, because like you can have a late game tone shift in something that really works.
You absolutely
You can make that work. So that can't be the only reason. That cannot be the only reason. It has to be layered. The reason I've been noodling about this or trying to, but it's been like kind of difficult because I guess of the nature of the moment. Because like, so, this happens directly after Momoe gets her ultimate reward in 2 ways. In 2 ways she gets an ultimate. One, she gets automatically seen as a girl by a boy, and he kisses her. And that's very cute. It's very cute. She
That's
like
very
blushes and then she turns to Panic. Yeah, it's very affirming. A little bit for the both of them, I guess. But like, and then like she turns to Panic. She goes, she's all blushy and everything. It's a cute bubbly moment, and that bubbly moment is followed by the ultimate reward that every girl is promised. Momoe is the first one to get it. That's crazy. You would think it would be someone different for some reason. I don't know why I would think that, but like,
No,
Well,
but you're right,
Momoe
though.
was introduced last, so maybe by that rule. But by that rule, maybe she's also the least relevant one, so she should like. Be
yes,
done
exactly. It
first.
seems like it's surprising, but not like shocking. It's surprising that she was the first one to get it, but it's not completely shocking. And she gets it, but then, mysteriously, her friend disappears through her. Her friend doesn't seem to acknowledge her, and also her friend kind of moves like a zombie when she comes back. And Momoe's reaction to this is to go, "I did it. It's really done. I did it." Like she feels joy, which is jarring as shit when like the Akkas didn't tell them what to expect. The Yakuza did not tell them what to expect when their friends came back. So she's confused, and then she sees her friend alive in front of her again, and then her friend evaporates through her. And that would cause distress in any reasonable person. So, like...
But also isn't necessarily a bad thing.
Yeah, I could understand it if it's like, oh, she's being brought from this dream world to the real world. I could see that explanation. But again, the show doesn't actually have her try to rationalize it.
Yes, exactly. Like, she just automatically goes, I did it. And then, out of fucking nowhere, an enemy that we have never seen before, that has no precedent whatsoever, appears, cackling with the voice of a teenaged girl. Oh my gosh. And she goes, it seems I have to kill you, tee-hee. And Panic, of course, is a creature like he is a naturally protective creature. He jumps in front of his mom. Which also, the episode
She
directly
could have said Venny at any point, just saying.
She could have said Venny at any point. And also,
No, she wanted Panic to die. He was kind of tasty.
The episode directly before this, not counting the recap episode, but the episode directly before this establishes really heavily this idea that the animals think of these girls as their moms, and that is why they need to protect them, which is very strange and very Hollow Knight-esque, honestly. But, like...
Nothing wrong with Hollow Knight?
There's nothing wrong with Hollow Knight, but the thing about Hollow Knight is that, like, this is like, and it doesn't matter. So, the relationship between parents and children is a very core thematic element of Hollow Knight, and it's not at all well done in Wonder Egg Priority, the relationship between parents and children. Did you notice that none of the Wonder Killers are the girl's parents? Did you fucking notice that?
No.
Because, like, that made me angry. Anyway,
No,
so,
was a
like...
missed opportunity.
Anyway, but, like, what I mean is, like, I've been breaking down it, like, bit by bit, like, the moments, because I can't quite articulate why...
Okay, so the crocodile gets killed... Oh, what's the
crocodile gets killed,
Why is that a problem?
and then the reason that the crocodile being killed is a problem is because we've had this crocodile for a few episodes, and it is established that this crocodile is a creature that is at once more powerful than and also deeply reliant upon his handler, right? So it's Momoe's responsibility, in a way, to pull him out of situations that she knows he can't get out of, right? So, like, she sees him jump in front of this terrifying creature, and she is frozen in place with fear. But then, like, there is a few seconds where she could have, in a panic, gone, no, wait, come back, because she knows they can heal in their little eggs. Right? So instead, she's frozen in fear the entire time. The entire scene, she's frozen in fear, even as she is being force-fed this uncooked gator meat. And that...
I think that's a natural reaction.
No. Like, okay, so
is
maybe it
something
is.
else your
Like,
problem?
it's a freeze reaction. But, like,
Yeah.
the freeze reaction is too convenient for the drama. Do you know what I mean? It feels too convenient.
Mm-hmm.
Like, even though
Why?
the whole, like, because the point of this scene is to cause distress in the audience and in the character. That's the only point
Yes.
of this scene.
It is.
And because of that, her not reacting even a little bit, like, she does react, but what I mean is, like, her completely freezing up for a full 2 minutes of time does not, like, it doesn't feel like it makes sense for her to do, because this is a because we've seen her, like, react on a, like, we've seen her, like, react to things with, like, anger and with panic and with, like, and with, like determination. And she sees, like, so she's just experienced the euphoria of boy kissed me, and also I got my girl, my friend back. I got my friend back from the dead. And then immediately after, there is just this hard switch into, by the way, we're gonna kill your Pokemon. And
Yes.
The Pokemon that was brought out for one, like, random, innocuous, like, oh, a new enemy, here, have some Pokemon, this totally isn't set up for killing them later.
The fact that you can so transparently see the hand of the writer throughout this entire scene, because Momoe doesn't ask the questions that would immediately come to mind, like maybe she does ask like, "Who are you?" I think she does. Yeah, she does, and the butterfly girl says, "Oh, I am a servant of Thanatos," and she goes, "Thanatos, what?" And she's immediately deeply afraid of this character, even before she has killed Panic, which I guess makes enough sense in the sense that, like, this is a girl who just said she's going to kill her. But it's like, Momoe has survived more terrifying monsters than this, and she immediately freezes. Like, she just freezes not only after Panic is killed, but during the conversation. Like, she could try to leave the conversation at any time. She could do so many things, and instead of doing anything, she freezes. And that feels cheap.
If I may, because I hear what you're saying, and I appreciate your take on it. My biggest problem with this scene is, like, who fucking cares? Like, it doesn't matter. Like, in the like, it changes the nature of the show, and in the like, whatever 3 episodes left that we have, it's like, who gives a shit? Like,
also true.
It doesn't actually end up, like, mattering to, like, the plot, or, like, I mean, it matters to Momoe, but Momoe promptly basically exits the show very soon after, and it's like, all right, well, then who fucking cares? Like, you change. Yeah, well, sure, but, like, you change the whole tone and attitude and style of the show, essentially, on this throwaway moment that doesn't fucking matter. Like,
I mean, I think it matters for the plot of the show, because it's how the show tells you, oh yeah, Frill has these servants, and... Well, actually, now that I say that, I'm not entirely sure how they help her out with...
yeah,
like,
suicide
rates. Which I guess might connect
you just
to
know
building.
that it's like, oh, these girls connect to Frill. We don't know why. We don't know how. We don't know literally anything about them besides their names. We don't know where they come from. We don't know anything fucking about them. So, like,
we don't know who Frill is?
Yeah, we don't know who Frill is.
Also, at that point,
we
don't know
that
who Frill
point,
is.
but that doesn't matter too much.
Yes, it does. It does matter that we don't know who Frill is. It matters so much that we don't know. What do you mean?
Find out who Frill is. Like, you do not know who Frill is at that point.
Okay.
Yeah, but it would have been better. It would have been a better scene if we did.
No, I disagree.
In the moment, in the moment
it
that we're
builds
comparing
a mystery about, okay, who is this, like, mastermind, or
Tenek
like the
is
master
right here.
of this antagonistic
kinda,
force.
In the world where
agree
this
with
show
Tenek.
is done properly, and we all agree that the Frill stuff rocks and is the best thing they could possibly have done, this is the way to start it.
You know what?
Okay, fine.
Okay, yeah, that's fair. Okay, I guess, like, okay, so the scene that we're comparing this to is Mommy's death in Madoka Magica.
Yes.
And the thing about Mommy's death in Madoka Magica is that Homura freaks the fuck out when Mommy, like, ties her up and says, no, you're not coming in with me. Or, like, I'm not listening to you. Like, Homura says, this is not a fight you should be in, because Homura knows Mommy will die in this fight. Mommy always dies in this fight. Homura knows Mommy always dies in this fight. Like, if she goes in alone, then yes, she dies in this fight. Homura knows the factors at play. She knows Mommy will die here. And she doesn't want... Number one, she doesn't want Mommy to die because, like, even if she does think Mommy is difficult to work with, she doesn't want her to die. Like, those are 2 different things. And then also, like, she's going to die in front of Madoka. And then that's going to, 1, traumatize Madoka, cause her a lot of pain. And 2... it's going to make it so that Monica feels an extra pressure to become a magical girl, which Homura does not want. So we don't know any of that. We just know that Homura freaks out before Mommy goes in. And Mommy also has an experience of experiencing a great relief just before, like, she dies. She goes, I've never fought this well before. I've never felt this light. And she, like, thinks that she's won, and then she dies. Just unceremoniously. I think the thing is that, like, Mommy's the one who dies. Momoe doesn't die. Momoe sees her beloved little Pokemon die. And that, like... And that's the thing is that, like... So this is meant to... Like, Mommy's death was not necessarily meant to teach Madoka a lesson in, like a particularly literal sense. But, like, it's meant to lay bare the idea that like, no, we were not fucking joking when we said being a magical girl is deadly and dangerous, and no, this is not a show where everyone gets to the other side of it, right?
Mm-hmm.
However, Panic like did not Panic was not established as part of the stakes at the beginning, and Panic's life is like Panic's life is not Panic's life being forfeit to the writers is something that feels bad and like cheap and obnoxious, especially with the whole like, and now I am going to feed you your pet. Blah. Like she doesn't even like turn her head away and like push the butterfly girl away. You would think she'd do that, but no. Anyway, it's like
she'd do that.
she'd do that, and it's like the difference is that mommy is the one who dies, and therefore her moment of relief and joy being cut short by her own death is something that like feels like it's saying something thematically about the show, and specifically making mommy an example to Madoka, like just metaphysically, cosmically, making mommy making an example out of mommy. So like she dies because someone needs to be made an example of, and it was her. However, in this show, in Wonder Egg Priority, Panic dies because the writer wanted to traumatize Momoe specifically so that she wouldn't talk to her friends.
Also, it's just adding real quick, it genuinely feels like these, well, I mean, we're calling them Pokemon. They were just added because they were always meant to just die and be a traumatic moment for the characters. It never felt like they served a greater narrative purpose.
Yeah,
would it have been better if they just killed Momo?
Yeah.
Probably, but because like the thing about Panic, because as Jams was saying, I think putting it kind of succinctly is like it just doesn't change the status quo. Like everything's, as much as I love Panic, that's my dude. Okay, I want to give him a big old crocodile
I love
kiss.
the guy.
I love him. Yeah, but it just doesn't change the status quo. So you've essentially traumatized the character, but that doesn't like stop her from like hanging out with her friends. Like her mission was done; she wasn't going to go back anyway. So that that didn't matter. You know, that giving her trauma over the death of her animal doesn't matter.
It just gets her out of the plot.
And I
But
do
gets
think
her out of the plot,
gets
but
out of the real plot. TM the real
you've
plot with
changed
Frill.
everything. You've changed the tone and style of the show, but you haven't changed the status quo doing that.
And I do think that's the biggest problem, because up until this point, the show has portrayed itself as a show about recovering from trauma and helping other people recover from their trauma. And it becomes a show about inflicting trauma instead.
Yeah.
And it's very hard to make shows about inflicting trauma interesting. I'm sure there's an example, like Watamote, maybe?
Well, I think Watamote is a very different example.
But I'm trying to come up with a good example of a show that is basically what we would call torture porn that's good.
Hey, while we're talking about
Original Sin was last year. But I
Takabi's
haven't
Original
seen
Sin
it. I don't know how
sucks.
good-
I hate that show.
I'm fat. I feel the need to watch it at this point because too many people have talked about it.
maybe we'll throw it onto anime discussion at some point.
It's too short.
Oh God.
I think there are
Short.
a lot of
Is it?
6 episodes.
Huh.
I think there's a lot of aspects of shows that are like torture porn, but that's not what they're like about.
Mm-hmm.
So it's hard to find. It's hard to find an example of like
My anime list,
straight up
sort by score.
like I can
Hey,
think of like
while we're on this scene, can I just have a quick little rant about Momoe real quick?
Yeah, sure.
Is it the gender rant?
Oh God.
Okay. So, I understand that there are billions of people on this earth. The kinds of things that humans can experience is boundless. And I'm sure there are an amount of people that have experienced this kind of like issue of, you know, well, it is just misgendering. I get it. Trust me, I should get it. However, if I see another show where where one of the characters' problems is that they're a little too manly and they need to become more traditionally feminine, while there is also a trans man in the series, I am going to shoot the next person I see with a gun.
Such an American
Is
statement.
like, what other shows do you have on mind that have a setup this specific?
Not a show, but Persona 4.
Oh God.
Oh my god. Okay, let's not get into Naruto discourse.
No, remember when Yukiko said, "You don't actually want to be a guy, Naoto"?
Okay, so Naoto aside,
I've never heard of this plot.
You never heard of Persona 4?
I watched
They
2
don't know the plot.
episodes of the Persona 4
Oh,
anime. I don't know anything about like. I've heard of it. I don't know much about it aside from something about rotten oranges.
sure. Look, I'm a staunch Persona 4 defender, but like, Naoto aside, right? I actually never got the impression that this was supposed to be a trans issue with Momo.
Yeah, no, I don't think.
Well, it's
No, it
specifically
wasn't,
not
but-
supposed to be a trans issue.
It's specific. Listen,
Yeah.
I get it. Like, it's misgendering. It sucks. It's awful. But it feels like the writer just didn't want to write a trans character because trans people are icky. When they just
Okay.
do this
I
half-baked,
disagree
oh,
entirely.
Oh, hold on.
I mean, why would they even have a trans character in any capacity? Like, even just as a supporting one in one episode.
Yeah, I don't think it's as malicious.
They would have avoided it entirely.
Yeah, remember that
What-
this is not a writer who we have been praising for their careful handling of themes.
Oh, I know, but I'm so sick of seeing this one trope show up for characters, and it's the most boring thing ever because it's always just like, oh, you just need to act a little more girly and you'll be fine.
Well, hold on, because I don't think it was.
I don't think that's what
it
the
was
show is
that.
saying.
Same.
I think what the show is saying with Momo is that people are putting her into a box. And what I mean by that is that I think with her character, they're trying to show that like girls are sometimes forced to become something that they are not or they don't feel comfortable with in order to comfort others. Because that's Momo's entire role in the show is like whenever we see her with a fucking wonder egg person, right? She's just comforting them. She's being there for them. She's offering like a listening ear. She's offering them, whatever. And that's, they see her as as like a masculine trait. Now, is that good?
See, I would be okay with, I would be okay if she, embraced her more masculine traits, or even if she just like realized that her main issue was people putting her in a box and she doesn't, like, those people are the problem and not her. Unfortunately, her character arc ends with the butterfly in the room.
Oh yeah. I
What
mean, the way that they
butterfly?
handle Momo at the end is like.
Oh, you mean the butterfly that kills the crocodile?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like why was she even really fully here? Like, I don't actually understand why she was here, if not for making some type of statement about girls being put into a box. But that's a different discussion,
I feel like
I
you
also
can
would
still,
probably be okay with it more if it was actually she. Like, it, to me, it
Well, it was
always
actually
feels
she
like it always felt like Momoe was boyish because of her features alone and not how she presented herself. Like,
She,
I mean,
opens her
she
closet and we
wears
see
very
she has
masculine
one girly
clothes.
thing in there. Yeah, it's like.
Hi, wizard.
I think that's intentional. Like, it's just like the hairstyle plus the clothes. That's most of it.
I think another problem for me is just that I think another problem for me is just that I don't think Momoe is well written in the first place. I think she's boring as sin.
Sure.
Oh yeah,
That's
no,
fair.
it's
Yeah,
like
sure.
so like
There's
the way
only
that she's
one
introduced-
interesting character here, and it's Riku.
Rika!
Rika.
I love her.
Whoever.
So interesting, couldn't even
My
remember.
favorite.
I was looking at my Mal, going through stuff, and I saw Maiden Abyss. I'm like, yeah, Rico. Wait, it's not Rico.
Yeah,
Riku.
Yeah.
Riku from Kingdom Hearts.
Riku. I
Like, I
love
think it's really
Kingdom
interesting.
Hearts.
Like okay, so within the first 4 episodes is when we meet we meet all 4 girls within the space of the first 4 episodes. So I think it's really interesting how like okay, so Momoe is introduced like essentially being like a therapist, which none of the other girls are doing. Like Ai is just kind of going on an adventure with the girls, and Rika we see is functionally just kind of like having a conversation and being a bitch to the monsters, which is great. I love that for her. She's just like, the point of me being here is that I beat this bitch up for you. Okay, girl? Cool. And we see Nehru, who we've spoken about one time this entire class.
Hey,
'Cause, like, who
I
cares?
keep thinking about it when which one of you brought up the D&D analogy?
Me.
I think that was, yeah.
I just keep thinking about Nehru going up to the DM and going, "Can I play a Warforged, but I look like I'm a human?"
Oh my goodness. It's like can I play a word? Anyway, so it's like Nehru, and Nehru, the way that she does it is she's essentially like, all right, I just need to keep you alive. Please cooperate with me. I'm ignoring you for the most part, and I am getting this monster destroyed in an efficient manner and not talking. Like, so like
Another
it's like,
great example of the awful trope of robot equals autism.
Ugh. And it's like, okay, so the it's really interesting how like you see this and a reasonable, like a good writer, which I am, would probably say that like the idea is that like each of the girls has a different approach, and that is partially like because this is a gachapon system, sometimes the eggs don't work for them because their approach does not work. Like, going on a fun adventure with a girl who needs someone like Nehru in her life is not gonna work. Like, Ai's not gonna be able to crack that egg open, so to speak. Or like, she's not gonna be able to release the girl from the egg or whatever. I don't really know what metaphorically happens to the girls aside from disappearing
Robotism.
into a bunch of dust. But like, it's like...
Sorry, good
Like,
job,
for
Sleepy
instance,
Panda.
yes,
Yeah,
Sleepy
great
Panda,
fun.
you're right. So like the first girl that we see Rika saving, who doesn't even have a face, but whatever. She goes, "Thank you. No one's ever fought for me like that before." So we get the idea that it's like people who need Rika are people who need somebody who is like really fiery and direct and who doesn't mince words and who says, "Fuck you, I'm right." And then the people who need Nehru are people who like don't need necessarily emotional support. They just need someone who knows what they're doing. They need like an authority figure who is not malicious. Like they just need someone who says, "We're doing this. Come on, let's go. I have a plan." Like, you know? And the people who need Ai are someone who just need a friend. Like, and that's the thing is that, like, Ai is providing people with a friend, which is the thing that she always needed, which is the thing that Koito provided for her, which is the thing that all of her trauma is wrapped up in around this suicide of Koito and also her life before Koito. And then we have Momoe, who is essentially just a therapist, who's like, "Go ahead, tell me what's wrong." I see. It's like, that must have been awful for you. And then, like, their catchphrases are all very different. Momoe's catchphrase is, "I've heard enough." And, like, that's the idea of, like, all right, then, we're addressing the problem directly now.
And
as
Ai's
opposed to
catchphrase
just, like,
is, "I don't
speaking
speak, bitch."
Actually, I mean,
Did
yes,
anyone
I
watch the
love-
dub?
I love the way her English yes, I love how
I
her
don't
English
speak,
accent
bitch.
delivers that fucking line. I don't speak, bitch.
Also, Ai's catchphrase is clearly Hulk smash.
Like, Ai's catchphrase is, "Now I'm really angry." It's a very emotional catchphrase. And then, but Rika's catchphrase is very performative. She says, "I'll take you down with a shot to the heart." Like, this idea that, like, I will get to the heart of the problem and destroy it.
She also, speaking of performative, is how she constantly introduces herself the exact same way, like it's so practiced.
Yes, she's so practiced. She's such a fake bitch. I love her.
I love her
Performer.
too.
You're talking about Rika now, right?
She's
Yeah,
an idol.
Yeah, but it's very emblematic the way she, like, even after trying to put that side of herself away, she's still stuck in her routine and performance of always saying the exact same thing to people.
And
I
also,
love
there's
how
some
she's
environmental
introducing the
storytelling
plot.
there, right? I guess that's not the right word, but like,
But like,
I
you know.
guess it is.
you can see her as a kid, people introducing herself. My name's Rika Kawai, and people being like, "Ah, Kawai, because you're such a cutie," and so on. And she just, I can see her heading that off at the pass, like how whenever I go to the doctor, I always spell my name
Ah, I see.
before they
yeah.
ask, because I know they're gonna need me to.
Yeah, also it's like gosh, this is the thing my dad had to do, where it's like, it's specifically, the back half of our name is very easy to, like, misconstrue as, like, being shorter or having, like, because of, like, the way, it doesn't matter. Anyway.
Because
So-
English is garbage at spelling things, yeah.
I love how garbage English is at spelling things. I am a crazy freak who loves the English language, for what it is.
Of course, an American would say that.
No,
No,
English
most
is
Americans
great.
don't say that. Anyway, so like, yeah, right. So why did I get on the topic of like the girls being like what the other girls need? Why was I on that
'Cause
topic?
it's fun.
I think it was. Yeah, it's fun. It's more fun it's more fun and interesting. It's more fun and interesting to look at the first few episodes of this and go, what would a good writer have done with this?
Mhm.
You know what I mean?
That is
Like,
my favorite question to ask about basically anything.
Same.
What could this have been? Because that's how you get inspired, right? You don't get inspired by having ideas that are unique and original and wholly yours. You get inspired by looking at things that other people have done and thinking, why did you get that idea? You don't deserve that idea.
Your Minecraft build will be better if you just go on Pinterest already and look at other people's.
But yeah, and so I think we were talking about like Momo Wave, or you know what? I guess it doesn't matter what we were talking about before.
Talking about Rika.
Rika.
No, like, Rika is the only one who has an actual story that matters.
Yeah. Oh, and the actual story that matters happening is the thing that made me angry at the show for the first time. Episode 7 made me so fucking angry. So
Yeah, why were you guys so upset about that? I really didn't understand it.
I like every part of episode 7 that doesn't take place in a dream world.
interesting. I really dislike most of it. What parts do I like? What parts am I neutral on? Because I can't think of a single part that I liked.
The part I don't like is just using, like, a cult to basically speed run her depression.
It's like, okay, I did like one thing in isolation out of the context of the rest of the episode is the conversation. The only thing that I liked about this episode, completely removed from the context of the rest of the episode, is Ai's conversation with her mom at the end, where her mom drunkenly says, in this tone that makes it very clear that she's probably not going to remember she said this in the morning, she's going to be like, "You're going to leave me too eventually."
Mm-hmm.
And Rika, eating her dried out cake, says, "Yeah, but not today."
Mm-hmm.
And like, that's so interesting and beautiful, and it really reminds me of that moment of no one will ever call you pretty again too. Because like it's this idea of like the characters like just sort of saying out loud in a very frank way the thing that they can say in this moment, and that's so beautiful and interesting to me. However, it came after the rest of the fucking episode. So it's like, we learned that it's Rika's birthday. Oh my god, it's Rika's birthday? Hooray! Like, I'm immediately like, yay, I love Rika.
Happy birthday.
Happy
No,
birthday.
like, Rika's whole plot line, and especially that resolution of it, because we don't really get back to it, was great for me. Because I've always been a sucker for things are better now. not good, and they're not ever going to be good, but they're better. Like, my favorite musical is Next to Normal. I adore Next to Normal. I'm very fond of saying Next to Normal won the goddamn Pulitzer. But that is the, like, quintessential example on Broadway of things are not good, they are not going to be good, they will never be good. But they're better. And we can always make them better, and we can always appreciate what good there is. We can always find some common ground in this relationship, and, like, we can find ways to love each other, even if we don't like each other. Like, the best line...
Henry, that's true, and I totally care. I'm trying to tell you, I love you.
Real quick, I just kind of had a horrifying realization that Rika's entire, like plot point with her mother is identical to Sora from Digimon.
Sure.
What? I don't recall this. Wait, what?
I do not know that character.
I don't recall Sora's
but anyway,
Digimon. Oh no. Anyway, yeah.
The best line ever written in a musical comes at the finale of Next to Normal when Diana says, "You don't have to be happy at all to be happy you're alive." And
it's so good.
Yeah, it is. And I think that taking that sentiment and applying it to a show like this is the best way to go. Things are never going to be good. You will never have escaped the thing that is haunting your life, and that's true for everyone, no matter how mild or how extreme that thing is. But there is still a life, and because there is still a life, there is still room for things to get better. There will be good days, there will be moments of reprieve, and there will be individual things that happen that make it seem almost worth it. And those things are worth fighting for. And I think when you have a show like this that's dealing with such horrible shit constantly, you need to grab onto that sentiment and not let it go. And I felt them grabbing... I felt their fingertips barely grazing that sentiment during the scenes with Rika.
It's like, okay, I think the thing that made me really angry at the episode so immediately is the fact that the other girls are being bad friends. And that's framed as though, and the conversation where they're being bad friends is kind of framed as though we're looking at this issue from multiple perspectives. Some of them are kind of right. Some of them are kind of wrong. You must think for yourself, audience. And it's like, no, the view of this situation of Rika has a complex relationship with her mom where she really hates, like, she's like, I said in the note, it's like, it's absolutely bonkers to me that anyone would ever think that it's a good choice to have another character respond to one character saying, "I hate my mom for her failings as a parent," with, "It sounds like you have a codependent relationship and you need to make a clean break."
Look,
no reasonable writer does that, and it made me so fucking angry. Nehru said you're codependent and you need to make a clean break.
Look, just because you don't have the same feelings about each other doesn't mean you're not codependent.
Also, hold on, because I would like to defend that scene a little bit because I saw you getting really mad about it in the chat. Nehru is wrong, and she does end up being wrong about this. So, like,
Nehru shouldn't even be like I get it, a teenage girl, you're still gonna, well, I mean, robot, so I don't know, actually, but...
I hate this show so much. Sorry, sometimes I just remember and I can't take it anymore.
But I was going to say, like, no one points out, like, Nehru, you didn't even have parents, shut the fuck up.
But that's fair, though, actually, because you have the person because you have the person who has no right talking about any of this, saying something that's blatantly wrong with absolute confidence, and that's real. That is so real. Yeah. I do it all the time.
I guess I understand from that perspective, but this is also coupled with Momoe saying, "You can't say things like that about your mom. She's your
Oh
mom.
my god.
And
Sleepy
that's it.
Panda is on it today. Can I make a super chat donation to you, Panda? Because Sleepy Panda has pointed out that they are in a codependent relationship. The mom is dependent on the daughter for, like, validating her life and making sure that she has some reason to live, and the daughter is dependent on the mom for food.
Yeah, I guess.
Why can't you just be like Nehru and just be independent and run a company at the age of 14?
Oh
Christ.
my god. And it's like, okay, so like the fact that like okay, so Nehru
Oh, speaking
and
of super
Momoe-
chat donations, by the way, we haven't set a goal. I don't know what all the colors means, but we're doing all the colors for the next 15 minutes. And I will celebrate by drinking water if I get a single donation of any amount of money. Start goal. You have 15 minutes or I'll dehydrate to death. Sorry, I lost track of my priorities. What was that?
For ASMR stream.
Okay. I think the thing that made me really angry about episode 7 is the fact that it's presenting this issue that's very simple to me as if it is complex. Because it's a very simple issue to me. The issue is that Rika has a difficult home life because her mom is not a responsible guardian. And that's that's the whole idea, is that like her mom is a fundamentally irresponsible guardian who doesn't keep her promises. And that and that straightforward thing being actively misinterpreted by 2 out of 3 of her only friends as it seems like you're codependent and you can't say things like that about your mom is infuriating.
But importantly,
But like I'm not sure
is
why
the
you're...
one who's with her, right?
I is
Yes.
the one who leaves with her after she leaves.
No,
Like,
I is the one who
like,
gets it. And I feel like that's what they were
I's the one
going
who
for
gets
there. Like, they didn't consider the implications of the other 2 girls' reactions. They just wanted a situation where they could show that I understands.
and that makes me angry.
I know,
I don't
and it
know.
should.
I don't know if that is
And I
necessarily
mean, but
fair.
wait. I mean, I think this is going off some premise that like them, like Momo and Nehru giving her advice that's not really sound is like a problem or doesn't make sense.
Okay.
I don't think I think it makes sense that Momo would say that. That sounds like something a person
No, I
who doesn't
agree. I don't
understand
have a
what it's
problem
like
with
to
that
have
reaction
bad
at
parents
all.
would say.
I think, but Momoe
Right, so-
has heard. Momoe has just now heard Rika describe her home life.
Right, but
Where-
Momoe
because,
isn't
like-
making an argument. She's having an emotional reaction. Because we can
As
assume
women
that
tend
Momoe
to
has
do.
a very good home life in the way that people who make this kind of reaction do, usually. And the idea of, like, shit-talking your mom like that is horrifying to her.
I understand. Okay, I think
That it's not an
Yeah.
argument. Like,
you guys have remember when I said like that sometimes the dialogue slips into theater talk instead of normal person talk.
yes, and I love that.
Like,
Gilmore Girls
okay.
is like my favorite show.
Excellent. It's like, okay. But like when I say that it slips into theater talk instead of normal person talk, so the example I'm going to use is in the opening number to Be More Chill, there's a section where Jeremy is talking to Michael.
I can't. I fucking can't.
Well, then you can be muted, because I want to hear about Be More Chill.
The opening number to Be More Chill, Jeremy is speaking to Michael, and number 1, they're in the middle of a musical number. But number 2, this is a stage musical where we need to this is the establishing number. So their conversation needs to be very clear and to the point where both of them are saying every thing they are saying is a new piece of information that is very clear. So Michael comes in, he's jamming out to Bob Marley on his headphones, and like the genre changes because he is jamming out to Bob Marley on his headphones, and he goes, and that was the end, now tell me, friend, how is class? You look like ass, what's wrong? And then they like get into it's like Jeremy says, what does boif even mean? And then Michael pulls out his backpack that the same bully wrote a different thing on, because that bully noticed they walk next to each other in the same order every day, and it says Wrens, so it says boyfriends if you look at them from the back, which is, anyway, so the point is that, they're having this conversation where Michael brings up a thing that is a complete non sequitur, and Jeremy has to like look at him kind of funny and go, "What do you mean?" And Michael tells him directly what he means, and then suddenly the conversation changes on a dime to signing up for the school play, and he's like, "I was gonna say getting stoned in my basement, but no, look who's signing up for the play!" And then like the next part of the thing happens. So it's like this idea that like the conversation feels very frantic and nonsensical if it is a snippet, like if it is part of a larger spoken scene, but it makes sense as a snippet in a musical number. So the conversation that they're having about Rika's mom feels like it is being written as though it is a snippet in a musical number, but it's not. It's a whole conversation that you've got to develop.
Legitimately understand what you're saying, and that surprises me.
That
went on such a long tangent, and then you wrapped it up at the end. And
I get it now.
Just well done, good job. It reminds me of this time in Dear Evan Hansen, when there's a conversation between two characters on stage, and one of them says, "Our friendship goes beyond your average kind of bond, but not because we're gay. No, not because we're gay. We're close, but not that way. The only man that I love is my dad." Anyway,
Evan
Wonder
Hansen,
Egg
say
priority.
how you really feel.
Oh my god.
We really brought up the two most popular teenage drama musicals of the 2010s back to back, didn't we?
What are you talking about? Nobody said anything about Heathers.
Now that we had some time to be happy, I have a topic suggestion.
Yeah.
Who wants to talk about Nehru?
Not me.
Nehru.
I don't give a shit about Nehru.
I
cares,
think.
man?
About Nehru.
I mean, people talk shit about the last episode, but I think it does pose like an interesting, like philosophical conundrum. Like, what would you do with your friend if one day you just found out they were a clanker the whole time?
A robot.
Yeah, the summer Hikaru died.
You can't be saying that way, baby.
We would do the summer Hikaru died.
Can I just
Did
point
some
out,
Hikaru died? Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, that's a good point.
in the last episode, they're like, "Hey, we have some bad news. Nehru has gone missing." I paused the episode. There's 10 fucking minutes left in the show.
Mm-hmm.
Like, the fact that they're just like, she's gone. We don't know what happened. And it is the most forced, just fucking shoved in there, like, sentence to try and wrap it all up in the last fucking episode. It's like, why? Why did I sit through this?
That is the thing.
Why did
I can believe this being like the intention the entire time, right? Because
No.
well, okay, at least look, we didn't know why her sister, quote unquote, like tried to kill her. So that was like a big.
That could have
mystery.
been a number of reasons.
Yeah,
I know why I would.
and I mean this is one of them. I mean, this is the thing. Like, people act like this ending has like a lot of loose threads. At least, like they talk about it. That sounds that way to me. But like, I don't think it really does. Even like this ending, like now I is gonna try and go through the eggs to help Nehru or revive her or whatever.
Tenek, the ending is
Like,
nothing
yeah,
but loose threads.
I would like to
No,
posit
I mean, look,
through the lens of
if there's
television
a
writing.
loose thread, it's that, like, what happens, like, is Nehru alive? How does I find her? And I don't think that's something that the story really needs to conclude on. Like,
Okay. That's a bonkers statement, but okay.
aside from that, I think everything is answered. Like, why Nehru's sister tried to kill her. She did because she was extremely jealous that this clanker version of her was, like, a superior
Can we
person.
stop using slurs, please?
No.
Okay, so
No, he says.
okay.
No, we'll not stop using slurs.
Stop using slurs, please? No.
So what I want to look at this through the lens of television writing, because I know a lot about television writing in the sense of okay. So if you listen to the Gravity Falls commentary tracks, you will know that Bill Cipher was never meant to be the main villain. and that's
Wait, is that
interesting.
I didn't know that.
That's
I
true.
didn't know
That's
that.
true.
What the fuck?
They arbitrarily chose to use that weird triangle guy that they got off the dollar bill to like they were like, we'll put this weird triangle guy in the center of this circle of symbols that we flash at the end of every opening, and we don't know what it means, but maybe it'll mean something later. Right?
Huh.
That's a thing they chose to do at the top of the
That's
show
neat.
because the only twist they had in mind at the top of the show is Stan has a secret twin who is trapped that he is trying to like get out of somewhere else. Like Stan has a secret twin and he's the guy who wrote the journals, and the guy who wrote the journals disappeared off the face of the planet and only left the journals behind. So that's the main idea. That was the only twist that was planned ahead of time is Ford Pines was the only twist ahead of time. And so the stuff about McGucket and the stuff about Bill Cipher, all of that was made up as the show went on. And the reason that I bring this up is because the writing philosophy of Gravity Falls, and this intersects with something that I learned about the writing philosophy of Rick and Morty. I don't watch Rick and Morty, to be clear, but
don't associate me with those people.
Don't associate me with that show. But I learned about this idea that like the main writer said, like, listen, if you're a parent and your kid asks, are we going to the zoo today? And you say, I don't know, you're a bad parent. But if you're a showrunner and you're asked, are we going to the zoo today? And you say, I don't know, you're a good showrunner, because the idea is that you need to keep all of the plot threads evergreen. Like you need to keep, like, if you are writing like a show that's meant to go on functionally forever, then you need to keep everything evergreen. And in Gravity Falls, what they were doing was they were like, okay, we need to plant a lot of seeds, and then whatever grows is the thing we need to nurture anything that looks like it has potential, and then we need to make sure that we wrap this up properly. So neither of those things. So like the idea that going in, this writer is very well versed in drama television, where you have to make new plot threads as quickly as you wrap them up, but also you can't let characters progress too far, or else they become unrecognizable from their initial like outings and stuff. Like it's like this whole philosophy of television writing that works for long form things that are meant to go on forever. Does not fucking work for a 12 episode anime. Mm-hmm. It doesn't.
I don't even think it works for things that are supposed to go on forever. I mean,
I don't know. I think it depends on the thing.
In a certain sense, yes, it does. But like everything ends eventually. Like it's not, you know. For episodic stuff, where like I don't know, what's an episodic Pokemon?
Yeah, Pokemon.
You know, eventually, like every show is episode, or every episode is a self-contained story.
Eventually, they did have to retire Ash Ketchum.
Yeah, but eventually, you have to retire Ash Ketchum. You know what I mean? So, like, yes,
let him die.
But let him. No, that's my dude. He'll never die. Not to me.
Die.
At least let him get older. I mean, shit.
No, I'm right there with you, Tom. Ash Ketchum's my guy.
Yeah, that's my dude. But I'm with Wonder Egg Priority. Like, it could have worked as an episodic story. Obviously, I think we can all agree on this. I think we would have liked it way better. Mm-hmm. But even saying that, like, it's that they didn't commit to either idea.
Mm-hmm. I think it reminds me of, like, if I could bring up this musical I like, Violet Evergarden.
Go on. You have piqued my interest.
I think that Violet Evergarden is like upper mid. It's a good 7 out of 10.
Sure.
But there's one episode of Violet Evergarden that I say is a 9 out of 10, which is like the highest I rate anything. And it's this episode where Violet is writing a letter at the behest of a woman who is dying and who has a young child. And she wants to write a series of letters for this kid so that she can keep getting letters throughout her life from her mom. And that is the kind... It has nothing to do with anything in the rest of Violet Evergarden. It's its own standalone, like, quote-unquote filler episode. And it's the best of the series. And I think if Wonder Egg Priority had taken that kind of approach and said, we are going to make individual self-contained stories, an episode, maybe 2 episodes in length, where we deal with each of these girls who are trapped in these Wonder Eggs and getting them to, like, deal with their individual issues before they move on to the afterlife or bring them back to the real world or whatever. That could have been an incredible show. But it didn't do that.
Also, they start setting up this motif of I picking up items from each girl. Like,
which is cool.
Yeah, they start up this motif of, like, every time that I befriends a girl, she receives an important object from them that helps her fight their monster. And she keeps the colorful pen that she gets from the first girl throughout the entire series, but she changes out the other ones, which you would think would mean something, but it doesn't.
Mm-hmm.
And then also it's
She likes hammers.
the idea that, like, she likes hammers, but it's like this idea that, like, all of the girls that I helped need a friend that I brought up earlier. It makes it really interesting how, like, she's the only one who does that. All the other girls, they never change weapons ever, even once. But with she's constantly changing weapons because she is constantly responding to other people and responding to, like, what they want out of her or what they need out of her even. And then the final episode where she, the final challenge for is that being that she needs to be a friend to herself is something that's very interesting and cool to me.
And they did it in the shittiest way possible.
Yes!
Where do you
So
think
bad.
the execution for that was bad? Both.
The I that was learning the entire show was not the one who changed at all in that episode.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, not. I mean, the whole lesson was that she shouldn't try to blame Teach for stuff that's not actually his fault.
Okay, so that's
You
also
should get
bullshit and
over it.
stupid. It's okay. Listen, okay.
Yeah, we haven't even talked about him yet.
We haven't talked about that man once, and we only have an hour left.
We only
Okay.
have an hour.
What are you talking about? I'm the most. We're talking about who I say Sawakaki, whatever his name is, right?
Sawaki. His name is Sawaki. Momo's
Yeah,
uncle.
Mr. Unproblematic.
Momo's uncle. That's crazy, right?
Unironically.
It's just like, okay. So, oh my goodness.
My favorite part of that last where they're fighting the big guy, the big head that he's like the paint guy, is when he says art is an explosion because it reminds me of Datara from Naruto. And that was cool.
That was cool.
I haven't thought about him in a while.
The rest was bad.
Yeah, it's like, okay. So,
Yeah, I mean, but okay, I guess my main question was, you're saying that what happens in the last episode 12 does not actually have any impact on, the real the one that didn't kill herself. And
Correct,
I
because-
don't think I see what you mean.
So, okay. If we are going with the idea that I grows a little more as a person and her final challenge is to befriend herself, essentially, in the same way that she's been befriending these egg girls. Like, she befriends, like, that girl that was institutionalized for hallucinating. And, like,
Quote
she...
unquote.
What do you mean, quote unquote? What?
Well,
There
wasn't
could have
the
been real
implication that the
ghosts.
ghost is real?
Oh, the ghost. I don't think the implication is that the ghosts are real.
Oh.
I think so, okay.
But
maybe
wouldn't
this is
that
just
be
me
something,
being
though?
Moon Knight pilled, but maybe this is just me being Moon Knight pilled.
Just
but, like,
to have
I
Wonder
was
Egg
taking
priority
it-
throw in at the last minute. Oh, and also ghosts are real.
Also, there were ghosts. They were real ghosts.
But, like, okay, my thought process was the whole challenge of that fight was, like, the idea that, like, even if the ghosts are not necessarily physically in reality, these are real experiences that this girl is having. The ghosts are real to her, and they're scary, and she's terrified, and they only got worse when she was institutionalized. And this is because the hallucinations are, at least a little bit, tied to her levels of, like, distress and isolation in this world. And, like, people not taking her seriously and just thinking that she needs to be, like, thrown away somewhere to be fixed, only made the situation worse. And that's, like, the whole thing, is that, like, that's the thing that happens to fucking Moon Knight. It's like, so maybe I'm just a little... maybe
In
I'm
my
too
favorite
Moon Knight.
musical, Moon Knight.
Anyway, so... So what I'm saying is that like she befriends that girl via sympathizing with her and saying, I believe you in the sense that I believe these things are like things that can affect you and make your life worse. Like it's like she doesn't need to say I believe that ghosts conceptually are real. I'm saying that I believe you are seeing things and that they scare you and that you deserve sympathy for that and you need someone to tell you it's okay to be scared. I'm here for you and I am safe, which no one was doing for her. Right? So like
Okay.
the I don't know why I went on that tangent. I guess it's just important to me. So the idea is
I mean,
like,
we were talking about episode 12. I'm still not sure.
no, we were talking about the eye episode. So the idea of like her like essentially like getting progressive in progressively more proficient in empathizing with and connecting to these girls and then ending on you now need to empathize with and connect to a version of yourself that gave up. That's interesting and beautiful, and it becomes about Sawaki, and I'm angry. It becomes about her having suspicions about the untoward nature of her school counselor, who she also was implied to have a crush on, who also, it's like, it makes
Can
me
I say
hurt.
something controversial and brave?
Okay.
Please.
I like that entire plotline.
All of it,
Oh my
all
god.
of it. All of it,
Not
all of it?
all of it. But
Uh,
at its core, I think it's very interesting to take the idea of a girl in a vulnerable position who has a person who is specifically here, allegedly, to help her deal with emotional problems that's directly involve him, and have her own interpretation of events and her own uncertainty about what happened infect her ability to get the counseling that she needs from this person.
Yes.
sure.
And I
Yeah,
think
that's
that's
a very
really
good
cool.
I
do
think that
like
in
the
itself is a good
concept of their
idea.
relationship. But God, the execution was shitty. It's like okay, so like I'm fine with the idea of like him being framed visually as like a dreadful figure
Yes.
until I goes, maybe I should just decide until I goes, okay, I am secure enough outside of this to be able to go into a talk with my school counselor and be confident that I am not going to have a horrible experience that will make me want to kill myself. It's like that's like the idea of like that's like an important step in that. You know what I mean? And that's not necessarily what happens exactly because like instead it becomes about her having a crush on him. You know what I mean?
Yeah, to me the whole problem is because like in theory I understand why you would like that, and I like the idea that you posited, but to me it really just seems like we have this character who is deeply affected and feels guilty over the death of her best friend, the death of the only friend that she has, and her problem ends up becoming that she's in love with her teacher. Like it doesn't, the two barely connect. The two problems barely feel like they're coherent at all. So like when that ends up becoming the final big bad that I and her, other self have to face is this, fucked up, malformed version of the teacher she's in love with, is like, what the fuck are we doing, man?
Mm-hmm.
Like what's going
on? Of all
on?
of the problems you could have picked.
Oh no, we can't hear you.
Oh no.
Oh, did I cut out?
What?
No, we
I
can't
mean,
hear.
I can't hear him.
We cannot hear.
I think it
ExPoint.
might have just
God.
been on your part.
Oh, I can't hear ExPoint.
Oh,
I didn't realize he was talking.
Should have fixed it. It didn't fix it.
Oh no, we still can't
Yeah,
hear
we still
you.
can't
Nope.
hear you.
Nothing.
Oh,
Oh
golly.
man.
It's Frill. She's
No.
gotten into the system.
Oh God. Oh man, the Frill
Well,
episode.
good thing
I love
she
the
can't make
moment
him
where
kill
Frill-
himself.
Because he's goal driven.
Yes.
He is goal driven.
I do like the moment in the episode with Frill where she turns to Uraraka and she says, And she says, you know, who you choose to hate is a very interesting window into your psyche. For instance, do you hate your husband for cheating on you, or do you hate the woman who seduced him away from you? And he goes, neither. I gave them my blessing. And he kind of like looks at her like, girl, are you okay?
Testing.
Yeah.
And like, but he doesn't really go
We
deeper
still
than
can't
that.
hear
And I
you.
think it's really interesting. Darn, yeah. I think that's one of my favorite moments of the show, just that moment in isolation.
Test.
I think because there's something very,
Test.
I don't know why it's delightful
Test.
to me.
Test.
I think it's because it's out of
Test.
pocket, honestly.
Test.
Yeah, that's probably it.
Test.
I
You're
like
just like,
Phil being out
oh,
of pocket.
shit.
Test.
She just asked that.
Test.
Just ask that out loud.
Test.
Which might be part of the reason I like Rika too, because like she will say so many things out of pocket, and like, okay, so that's another thing. Is that like Rika, that's another thing that I think about when I think about like the staginess of dialogue, is that how like it kind of like flips and flops between like this is
You
a
hear
natural
me fine.
conversation for 2 sentences, and then suddenly we have flip-flopped directly into theater. We are in the middle of a musical number conversation pacing.
Wait, hold up.
Is it like
Church in chat, can you hear me?
that scene where all of the girls are like deliberating? Oh wait, Chad apparently hears ExPoint
That's
fine,
insane
which
if
is
that's
worse, I think.
Uh-oh.
Oh dear.
That should be
it's
true.
like
Oh my goodness,
the,
this is insane.
hebe. I can words about this.
So only
What
Discord
was
is the
I
problem.
saying even? Oh no.
Incoherent ramblings.
No, I
But okay, let me.
me.
I mean, I feel like I've already asked quite a couple of questions on like why all of you find like some parts of this show so problematic, and
Sorry everybody, I'm gonna end the call real quick, restart Discord. See if that works. How are you all doing? Can you all hear me
It
now?
doesn't have
No,
enough
it
like
can't.
didn't
wiggle
make sense to
room.
me.
Okay, so the
What wiggle room?
Maybe we should
The
wait
wiggle
for a
room
bit until ExPoint can actually fix his mic.
Discord
Yeah,
is the
yeah.
only problem, he's saying.
Discord, the
Let me
Discord.
start
Did you check? Did you see if Discord might have changed your microphone settings and is selecting the wrong one, so it's not picking you up?
Yeah.
Oh
yeah,
yeah,
I
selecting the
imagine
wrong
it could be something
microphone
like that.
input.
No,
No,
it's
microphones work.
So wait, when you go into Discord and you select voice and video and you click let's check test mic, what does it do?
Testing my mic.
No microphones work, he says. Nothing. It
So
does nothing.
Discord does not recognize your mic, and you have the correct microphone selected on Discord for voice, right?
Does nothing.
Yeah.
Maybe use like your phone or
It doesn't
Somebody in
recognize
the
the web
chat
any mic.
browser.
Phone's a good idea. I'm gonna do that.
Somebody says try switching from desktop to browser.
Yeah, I guess we'll. Okay, just everybody wait while we fix this.
Yeah, everybody.
Technical
And here I
difficulties.
thought we would get through the whole stream without technical difficulties. Foolish I was.
I'm not sure if that's possible. That might be asking for a lot.
I feel like it's happened before.
What was the last time? I mean,
Okay. Can you all hear me? That's weird.
If you can hear us.
Desktop didn't work. Oh, sorry.
Chat, tell me your Wonder Egg priority if you can hear us.
What is your Wonder Egg priority, chat?
What is your Wonder Egg priority?
I guess
Oh,
I
just-
can.
Hello? Alright, So now I'm connected on my phone, but the problem is now the stream can't hear you guys.
Oh dear.
What?
Well, because he's streaming from his PC. Like, the stream and the Discord call are two different things.
Yeah, oh my
He's
god.
on the Discord call, but he is on the stream on his PC, and so it's just like, ugh.
Okay, this isn't gonna help.
Very miserable.
So now I'm back in the Discord call here. You all should be able to hear them again.
Well, like you can hear us on the stream, it's just extremely muffled. Oh god.
We can
We can hear your phone. Says, oh dear. Yes, all of us are now in a little like relay of like there's now like tinny phone audio through through ExPoint's speaker into the stream.
Let's see.
Moonsicle. Unironically, this could be a good setup to a horror stream. Fascinating. Sleepy Panda, I need to know more. Your mind.
For a horror stream?
Yeah.
Like an ARG?
Exactly, but like, yeah, like something like an ARG or something. Just like, I'm so fascinated by this concept. I've never heard of a horror stream, you see. We can hear them badly.
The horror stream was the service I used to watch Wonder Egg Priority.
The horror stream was every bar rush at my job.
Finding folks that's seen the same obscure anime that I have is my Wonder Egg priority. What are some of those animes, Xavier, Zara? Please tell
That's
us.
so interesting.
Maybe we've seen them.
Seen the same obscure and
Ooh, having a bunch of technical difficulties and then cut.
like finding someone who has watched the Belladonna of Sadness at least
Oh.
once.
You know, it's not that I intended to watch it. It's more that I found someone else's analysis of it interesting, and it made me go, maybe I'll watch this one day.